The blackness of space stretched infinitely, punctuated only by distant stars that shone like shards of ice. In this cold expanse, the Erebus, an alien warship of enormous design, drifted silently near the Orion sector. Its hull, a twisted lattice of metals unknown to humanity, gleamed under the faint light of a nearby dying star. Inside, an oppressive quiet ruled, broken only by the low hum of life support systems and the sporadic electronic chirps of navigation consoles. Commander Zarek, the alien captain, surveyed the central command chamber with an unsettling calm. His species, the Viler, were known across multiple systems as meticulous and merciless, but even he felt a rare tension coil in his chest. Before him lay a scenario almost unprecedented, a hostage from Earth, a human captured during a raiding operation in the outskirts of the Sol system. A young intelligence officer named Lieutenant Daniel Harper. One human. One fragile, imperfect life. They believed this hostage would grant them leverage. Earth, with its tenacity but technological infancy compared to the Viler, would negotiate, yield, or submit. Zarek's first officer, Twal, hissed a quiet warning, her multifaceted eyes narrowing. Commander, humans are unpredictable. They have a stubbornness we cannot quantify. Zarek's ridged jaw tightened. That stubbornness ends here. This one human will be the key to folding an entire planet to our will. Meanwhile, thousands of kilometers away, in orbit around Earth, Admiral Sarah McKinney paced the bridge of the USS Independence. Her mind was a battlefield of calculations, possibilities, and worst-case scenarios. Earth's intelligence networks had tracked the Viler fleet for weeks, but this was the first known human capture. Lieutenant Daniel Harper's abduction had sent shockwaves through Earth Command, but Sarah knew that panic could not dictate strategy. Options, Admiral, asked Captain Mark Caldwell, her second in command, a tall man with a square jaw and eyes that had seen the scars of countless campaigns. Sarah's gaze was hard. We don't negotiate. Not with them. Not ever. They think one human can make us bend. They're wrong. Prepare the Haven fleet. I want every strike vessel in a 20 million kilometer radius ready. They've made their move, now it's our turn. Caldwell nodded. Orders are being transmitted. But Admiral, they're larger, more advanced than anything we've encountered. Sarah's eyes narrowed. And that's why we'll outthink them. Humanity's strength has never been tech alone. It's strategy, ingenuity, and sheer refusal to yield. Back aboard the Erebus, Lieutenant Daniel Harper was confined to a small, stark chamber. Despite the alien design, the Viler had underestimated human adaptability. Daniel's training in survival, espionage, and psychological warfare had prepared him for the impossible, though not for the loneliness of deep space captivity. He crouched near a corner, fingers brushing a worn pendant his sister had given him, a small talisman reminding him that he was not alone, that Earth was waiting. Human, Zarek's voice resonated from an intercom, deep and unyielding. Your planet will surrender if you wish to survive. Your insignificance is clear. One life is but a thread in the vast tapestry of the universe. That thread can be severed. Daniel met the camera with an unflinching gaze. You've already made a mistake. Humans, we don't yield. Not to threats. Not to fear. You may hold me, but Earth holds more than one human. And it's stronger than you'll ever know. Zarek paused. The alien's mind, logical and ruthless, found no rational response to such audacity. The Viler had seen civilizations collapse at the sight of their fleet. They had seen species bend under coercion. Yet this small, fragile human radiated a defiance that felt almost dangerous, an anomaly in their calculations. Twala's hiss broke the silence. Commander, I suggest immediate action. If Earth realizes the hostage is here, they may respond unpredictably. It could escalate beyond our control. Unpredictable, Zarek mused, tapping clawed fingers against his console. Perhaps, but humans are weak. One human does not an empire make. And yet, in the void of the Erebus, unease began to seed itself. The Viler had underestimated one thing above all, humanity's capacity to transform hopelessness into a weapon. Across Earth Command, Sarah McKinney initiated the first phase of their counter-operation. Haven, the fleet's strategic intelligence flagship, relayed real-time scans of the Erebus. Sensors detected cloaking anomalies, propulsion signatures, and energy fluctuations that indicated weapons online. But the true plan lay not in overwhelming force, it lay in cunning, precision, and the willingness to push humanity's audacity to the limit. The fleet advanced cautiously, but swiftly. Tactical decisions weren't merely made on strategy, they were informed by instinct, experience, and an understanding that the Viler assumed one human could contain Earth's wrath. They were wrong. Sarah addressed the fleet through a secure channel, her voice calm but resolute. This is our time. The Viler think a hostage will make us surrender. They are mistaken. Every one of you knows your role. We will strike, and we will remind the galaxy that humanity bends for no one. The life of Daniel Harper depends on our courage. And courage is human. As the Erebus drifted, cloaked in shadow, Daniel Harper's mind raced. He knew his survival depended not on waiting, but on creating opportunities. Observing the alien technology, noting patterns in their patrols, he formulated a plan, a gamble that could either free him or end in annihilation. Humanity had always thrived against impossible odds. This would be no different. A soft chime alerted him to the motion of the chamber's locks. Zarek intended to interrogate him. Daniel's pulse quickened, not with fear, but with anticipation. Every second counted, every observation could become a weapon, and every heartbeat was a reminder of what he was fighting for: Earth, freedom, and the unyielding spirit that no alien species could ever truly comprehend. The doors hissed open. Zarek's looming figure entered, radiating authority and menace. Time is irrelevant, the alien said. Yield, human, or your life ends. Daniel rose slowly, meeting Zarek's gaze, unwavering. You think you can threaten me? You think one human is all you need to control millions? You're wrong. You've just awakened something you cannot contain. Earth never yields. And humanity will always fight back. Zarek recoiled slightly, not from fear, but from the impossibility of this scenario. In his countless campaigns, he had never encountered such raw defiance. And somewhere, in the endless cold of space, a single spark of human ingenuity was beginning to ignite, a spark that would soon become a blaze the Viler could neither predict nor withstand. The tension hung in the air, thick and electric. Across space, humanity's fleet approached. Inside the Erebus, one human waited, ready to prove that nothing, no fleet, no alien, no threat, could defy the will of Earth. And the first move was about to be made. The vacuum of space was merciless, yet for humanity, it had always been a canvas for audacity. Thousands of kilometers from the Erebus, the Haven fleet glided like a steel leviathan, its formation precise, almost ritualistic. Each ship carried the weight of an entire species' hope. On board the USS Independence, Admiral Sarah McKinney's hands hovered over the tactical console, every fiber of her being focused, every instinct screaming that this was the moment humanity had been forged for, when fear and uncertainty became fuel. Admiral, Captain Mark Caldwell's voice cut through the hum of the bridge, we've picked up activity near the starboard sector. Cloaking interference, possible Viler reconnaissance units. They're expecting us. Sarah didn't flinch. Let them expect us. Expectation breeds complacency. We'll give them none. Divert the 2nd Squadron to flank at 12 o'clock. Keep the 3rd in reserve, just beyond their sensors. And Caldwell patched through a message to Harper. He needs to know we're in position. A flicker of green confirmed transmission. Lieutenant Daniel Harper, deep within the bowels of the Erebus, received the secure comlink on a covert device he had cobbled together from alien tech and his own ingenuity. He studied the feed, eyes scanning the schematics of the alien vessel, memorizing guard patterns, vent pathways, and critical energy conduits. Daniel, this is McKinney, Sarah's calm voice spoke, almost intimate amidst the vastness of space. We're close. The moment you move, the fleet moves. Do you copy? I copy, Admiral, Daniel whispered, voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through his veins. One step ahead. I've got a plan, but I need a few minutes. Minutes are all we have, Sarah replied. And Daniel, trust your instincts. He smiled faintly. Instinct was all humans ever needed when logic faltered. And for the first time since capture, he felt the surge of hope, not false hope, but the kind that came from knowing Earth never surrendered. In the corridors of the Erebus, Zarek prowled. His mind, honed for conquest, churned with unease. He had expected terror in the eyes of the human hostage. He had anticipated pleading, desperation, submission. Instead, Daniel Harper had defied him, radiating a resolve that unsettled even the cold, calculating Viler. Tval, Zarek growled, there is something anomalous about this human. Track every movement, every heartbeat. I want no surprises. Yes, Commander, she hissed. But you cannot calculate courage, Zarek. Perhaps this will be a mistake. Daniel moved with careful precision. He slipped through narrow maintenance tunnels, avoiding patrols, bypassing surveillance with a grace born of training and desperation. Every step was a gamble, but he thrived in risk. He reached the energy core access chamber, a vital node controlling weapons and shields. If he could manipulate it, even partially, it would give Earth's fleet an opening. He crouched behind a conduit panel, breathing shallow, fingers working at the alien interface. The system was unlike anything he'd ever encountered, but patterns emerged, a rhythm, a logic beneath the alien chaos. Daniel's mind raced, calculating, improvising, bending human ingenuity around alien tech. Outside, footsteps echoed. Zarek's patrols were relentless. Daniel froze, heart hammering against his chest. A Viler sentry passed mere meters away, unaware of the human manipulating their most vital system. His pulse slowed once it passed. He had survived another trial. Access point secure, Daniel muttered under his breath, initiating a partial override. The Erebus shuddered lightly, an almost imperceptible vibration that only the trained human eye would notice. The fleet outside responded instantly. From the Haven, Sarah McKinney watched the feed. They're inside their systems. Harper's moving faster than predicted. Launch the drones, coordinated strike pattern Delta. Keep interference minimal. Within moments, the Erebus's shields flickered unpredictably, its weapon systems momentarily destabilized. Zarek's eyes widened at the anomaly, clawed hands slamming the console. Impossible. Tval's voice was tight with concern. They've breached our core systems, Commander. That human, he's manipulating the vessel. Zarek's jaw tightened. No human can do this. No human should even survive this far inside. But Daniel was more than human. He was the embodiment of Earth's resilience, a testament to a species that had thrived against impossible odds. As he continued his override, he could hear the alarms blaring, feel the tremors of ships moving into battle outside, and imagine the fleet of Earth rising to the challenge. Suddenly, a corridor bulkhead slid open. Zarek, flanked by elite guards, confronted him. The alien towered over Daniel, a shadow against the glowing panels of the chamber. Yield, human, Zarek bellowed, the sound vibrating through the metal walls. One step further and you die. Daniel squared his shoulders, never blinking. You've already underestimated me. You thought one hostage could break Earth. You thought fear could dictate our choices. You were wrong. You're about to learn why humanity doesn't bend. With a precise movement, he triggered the final sequence. Energy conduits sparked, the alien ship convulsed as systems faltered. Outside, Earth's fleet detected the instability. Strike vessels moved in synchrony, weapons primed, engines screaming as they began a coordinated assault. Zarek roared in frustration, attempting to stabilize the ship. Tval. Deploy countermeasures. Seal the core. Protect the vessel. But it was too late. The Erebus, massive and formidable as it was, could not withstand both internal sabotage and external assault. Daniel's partial override had crippled weapon targeting arrays, destabilized propulsion, and created chaos in command networks. From the bridge of the USS Independence, Sarah watched through live feeds, a grim smile forming. They thought a hostage would save them, but Earth proved them wrong. Harper's in position. Initiate full strike. energy beams lanced across the void. The Erebus convulsed, shields flaring and shattering under precise fire. Explosions rippled across its hull, casting eerie shadows inside the corridors. Zarek, enraged and panicked, attempted desperate maneuvers, but Daniel had anticipated every move. He darted through the chaos, guiding the humans' attacks from within. Minutes felt like hours, and in those minutes, humanity's resolve blazed brighter than any weapon. Daniel reached a maintenance hatch leading to the command core and placed a final device, an improvisation of alien tech and human engineering that would ensure the Erebus could not recover its offensive capability. Zarek, realizing defeat was imminent, bellowed one final command. But his voice, once so commanding, echoed hollowly in the chaos. The ship trembled. Lights flickered. Systems failed. Daniel exhaled, exhaustion mingling with triumph. Earth never yields, he muttered. And as the Erebus drifted, crippled and beaten, the Haven fleet closed in. Humanity had turned fear into weapon, weakness into strategy, and one hostage into a spark that ignited the downfall of an alien warship. Yet even in victory, the cost weighed heavy. Damage to Earth's fleet was minimal, but the fight had revealed a greater truth: the Viler would not stop. They would retreat, regroup, and return stronger. Humanity had won today, but the war for survival in the stars was far from over. As Daniel Harper reconnected with Admiral McKinney, his voice trembled slightly, not with fear, but relief. "Admiral, we did it. The Erebus is neutralized." "Not just neutralized," Sarah replied, pride heavy in her tone. "We proved something greater than firepower, Daniel. We proved that nothing can defy humanity." In the vast silence of space, as the broken remnants of the alien ship drifted, one fact was clear: Earth would fight. Earth would endure. And Earth would always rise from the shadows. The void of space trembled with the aftermath of destruction. Debris from the crippled Erebus scattered across the Orion sector, glowing faintly under distant stars, each fragment a testament to humanity's unyielding will. But the fight was not yet over. Even as Earth's fleet regrouped, the Viler had retreated, their pride wounded but their ambitions unbroken. On board the USS Independence, Admiral Sarah McKinney stood at the bridge, arms crossed, gaze fixed on the debris field. Her eyes, sharp and relentless, scanned every sensor readout. "Damage assessment," she ordered, voice steady as ever. Captain Mark Caldwell approached, tablet in hand. "Fleet losses are minimal, Admiral. Only minor hull breaches and system overloads on a few strike vessels. Harper's intel and timing were perfect, your orders, executed flawlessly." Sarah allowed herself a faint nod, but her mind was already ahead, calculating future threats. "Good. But don't mistake victory for complacency. The Viler will learn from this. We must anticipate their next move." Meanwhile, deep within the twisted corridors of the Erebus, Lieutenant Daniel Harper moved cautiously. Smoke curled around scorched panels, the acrid smell of burnt metal filling the air. The alien ship, once a fortress of terror, now felt fragile, its intimidation shattered as completely as its weapon systems. Daniel paused at the command chamber, scanning the remnants of Zarek's once imposing throne. The Viler commander was gone, retreating with what remained of his fleet, but Daniel knew this battle had left a mark deeper than physical damage. The aliens had underestimated humanity, and that miscalculation would echo across systems for decades. A faint chime interrupted his thoughts. It was Admiral McKinney, speaking through the secure channel. "Daniel, you're clear to evacuate. We'll extract you from the nearest airlock." "Understood, Admiral," Daniel replied. Relief mingled with exhaustion, but there was also a spark of exhilaration. Humanity had done the impossible again. One human, a single spark of courage, had altered the fate of an alien warship and demonstrated Earth's indomitable spirit. As he made his way to the airlock, memories of captivity flitted through his mind: the moments of isolation, the alien threats, and the daunting silence of the void. Every fear, every uncertainty, had been met with defiance. And now, freedom awaited. Outside, the Earth fleet moved with precise coordination, surrounding the Erebus remnants. Drones scoured the debris field, ensuring no stray Viler forces remained, while strike vessels maintained defensive formations, ready to intercept any counterattack. Sarah McKinney watched the operation with the calm authority of a seasoned commander. Yet beneath her professional demeanor was a current of fierce pride. Humanity had been tested, and it had risen not just through strength, but through ingenuity, resolve, and an unshakable refusal to yield. "Admiral," Caldwell spoke quietly, almost reverently, "what we witnessed today, this will be remembered. Across the galaxy, systems will rethink how they measure strength. We didn't just survive, we made a statement." Sarah's gaze didn't waver from the tactical display. "Strength isn't measured in firepower alone, Mark. It's measured in courage, in ingenuity, and in refusing to bow to fear. That's what Daniel Harper demonstrated today. And that's what every human will demonstrate in the battles ahead." Meanwhile, Daniel reached the extraction point. The Haven's retrieval pod waited, engines thrumming softly against the vacuum. As he stepped inside, he allowed himself a brief moment to breathe, to process the gravity of what had just occurred. The Viler had believed a single hostage would bend Earth's will. They had been catastrophically wrong. The pod disengaged from the Erebus and accelerated toward the USS Independence. Through the viewport, Daniel could see the wreckage of the alien ship, now drifting helplessly. A pang of satisfaction mixed with solemnity washed over him. One human had made a difference, but the war was far from over. Back on the Independence, Daniel was greeted by Admiral McKinney herself. Her eyes met his, and for a moment, the enormity of the moment hung between them. "You did it, Lieutenant," she said softly. "Not just for yourself, for all of us. You've reminded the galaxy of what humanity is capable of." Daniel nodded, voice steady despite exhaustion. "We didn't just win, Admiral. We proved that nothing, can defy humanity." Outside, the fleet began its withdrawal, escorting the surviving Viler vessels back into the void. But the message had been sent. Across the cosmos, the echoes of Earth's defiance would ripple, warning all who thought the planet weak, small, or inconsequential. Days later, as the fleet returned to Sol orbit, Earth's leaders convened in a secure command chamber. News of Harper's heroics and the neutralization of the Erebus spread rapidly, inspiring every soldier, diplomat, and citizen. Humanity's resolve had been tested and had emerged stronger. Sarah McKinney addressed the assembled leaders, her voice carrying the weight of conviction. "Today, we demonstrated that Earth is not merely a planet, it is a force. One human cannot define a species. But together, our ingenuity, courage, and refusal to yield make us unstoppable. Let this victory serve as a warning: no threat, no matter how advanced, can contain the spirit of humanity." Daniel Harper stood nearby, metal glinting in the light, but his eyes were on the stars. He knew the Viler would return, that new threats would emerge, that humanity's courage would continually be tested. Yet he also knew something deeper, something unshakable. Earth had proven that the human spirit was not a negotiable asset. It could not be caged, coerced, or broken. In the weeks that followed, the Erebus became a symbol. Scholars analyzed its remains, strategists studied the tactics used to defeat it, and across Earth, people celebrated the proof that one human could ignite a chain reaction capable of defying an entire alien empire. But Daniel never saw it merely as celebration. To him, it was a reminder: courage was contagious, defiance was powerful, and humanity's future, no matter the challenge, was forged not in submission, but in action. The galaxy had learned a lesson that could never be forgotten. Humanity was not a species to be threatened or tamed. It was a force of will, of ingenuity, and of relentless courage. One human had been the spark, but Earth itself was the wildfire, a force unstoppable, unyielding, and eternal. And in the endless night of space, that wildfire burned brighter than any star.